Well, hey guys, this is Dr. Watson, and I had a question about how to graph in ALEKS. So I thought I would make a quick video on this to show you these different tools that you have access to for graphing. So I'm looking at a question, this is from topic 1 homework, where you're graphing the line -3x plus y equal 3. So you got some tools here beside the graph. You got the eraser. If you make a mistake, you can erase it. A pencil is just freehand. You don't want to use that. And then you got plot a point. What you really want to use is this line feature. So we'll click on that and notice how it automatically plots a line. Now, this isn't the correct line for our equation that we're trying to draw, but it's a good starting point. You'll notice that it says place first point, right? So 2 points make a line. So you're going to find 2 points and click at each point. Now, the easiest way that I can describe to graph a line is to find the X and Y intercepts. The X intercept is where the line crosses the X axis, and the Y intercept is where the line crosses the Y axis. And the line will cross the X axis when Y is equal to 0. Right, here's the x-axis right here, that horizontal line. The y value is 0. So to find the x-intercept, we let y equal 0 in this equation right here. So if y is equal to 0, then we would just have left -3x equal 3. Now, to solve for x, you would then divide both sides by -3. That would give you x equals 3 divided by -3, which is a -1. X equals -1. That's the x-intercept. So I'm going to move my cursor to -1 on the x-axis and click. All right, that locks that 1 point in. And now I need to plot a second point. That second point is going to be the y-intercept. To find the y-intercept, you let x equals 0. If x is 0, then this entire term right here is gone, and we're left with simply y equal 3. So y equal 3, I'm going to plot my point 3 on the y-axis and click, and there's my line. And we can check this just to verify that is correct. And all the other types of graphing would be the same. All right, so that's how you graph. Just to show you some others here. Graph the line x equals 7. There is no y term in this equation, which means that there is no y-intercept, which implies that my line is a vertical line, right? Notice that this equation is telling me that x is equal to 7, no matter what y is equal to. So I'm going to find my x equals 7 on the x-axis, click, and then I'm going to find any other point with an x value of 7, right? So it's running vertical straight up and down. All right, I've got one more to show you here. Graph the line with slope 1/2 and y-intercept -8. In this case, they don't give you an equation. All they're giving you is a slope in the y-intercept. That's really all you need, though. Instead of plotting the x and y-intercept, you can plot the y-intercept first, again, using this line feature. So the y-intercept is where the line crosses the y-axis. That's at -8. Click. And then the slope is 1/2. Now the slope is a ratio of how y is changing compared to how x is changing. All right, so the numerator is the change in y. So this is telling us that starting from the y-intercept, y is increasing by 1. And the denominator is telling us how x is changing. The denominator is 2, so that means that x is moving to the right 2. And I'll click on that point, right? So from the y-intercept, we went up 1 and to the right 2. That's what that slope of 1/2 is telling us. If it was a slope of -1/2, that would mean we would go down 1 and to the right 2. All right, and I told you a story. I've got one more that I can show here. I think it is number 23. I saw that one. This one is a function. When you see this f of x at this f parentheses x, or in this case, h of x, h parentheses x, that's just function notation. This is telling us that it's not just an equation, it's a function. And a function is is a special type of equation to where every x has exactly one y value. Okay, but it works the same way. Just think of that h parentheses x as a y. Right, this is just simply y equal 4x minus 6. So we'll go to our line tool again. We'll find the y-intercept by letting x equal 0. If x is 0, then that 4x term goes away. That's 0. And we're left with y equal -6, right? H of x equal -6, right? So there's our y-intercept, -6. And we can do the same thing by letting y equal 0. We're letting that h of x equal 0. And we're left with 0 equals 4x minus 6. Now, if you were to solve that equation for x, you would get 3/2. So can we plot 3/2 on our graph? Well, no, this only goes in terms of whole numbers. You can't graph 3/2. Okay, so there is some limitations on graphing these x-intercepts and y-intercepts, but we can go back and instead of doing the x and y-intercepts, we can take the y-intercept, which we've already plotted as our first point, and we can take the slope. Now, the slope of a linear function is the number in front of x. So this tells us that the slope is 4, since 4 is the number in front of x. So the slope is 4. Think of that as a fraction, 4 over 1. All right, the numerator tells us the change in y. The denominator tells us the change in x. So this slope of 4 means that as y increases by 4, x is increasing by 1. So starting from the y-intercept, I'm going to count 1, 2, 3, 4, and to the right 1, and click that second point, right? That second point is 4 units up and 1 unit to the right from that y-intercept. And that would be my graph for my function h of x equals 4x minus 6. I hope this video was helpful for you. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out and ask.